Hey everyone, it's David here. I Today's been a very difficult day on Twitter. Um, I'm sort of in the peripheral. It's not really happening to me, but a person who was quite integral to at least the group that I'm a part of or peripheral of within the trans community on Twitter has died, and um, I've got two people who I follow and both consider friends, um, who are having a really hard time of it. They're talking about feeling suicidal, and so there's all this pain and sadness and hopelessness, and I've been trying to reach out with words, um, trying to ease that pain, to reach out and let people know that they're loved, that that their lives are worth living, and that there's joy. Um, and it doesn't feel like it's working, and that's okay. It's just text on a screen, you know but I wanted to say a video. I've been trying to plot it, but it doesn't. It's a feeling. It's not a series of uh, acts like it is in a story. Most stories are 5 acts of specific patterns, and this feeling is different to a story. Even though it is technically a story, what I want to say, my story is my life story is quite horrific. Um, Most people with my kind of history don't make it to 41. In fact, they don't usually or don't often make it to age 20. Um, I remember wanting to die when I was 5. I remember being 12 and thinking there was no way I could survive to get to age 13. Happened at 15. I thought there's no way I'm never going to get out of this hell. I'm just going to kill up and die. I've spent my entire life fighting suicide, because that's what happens. That's what happens inside the mind and the heart and the spirit of a human being who experiences sexual violence as a small person. I was 4 years old when bad things started happening, and so I fight it all the time, every day. Before I started transitioning, I would get 1 or 2 days a year when I didn't wake up and I wanted to die. 1 or 2 days a year where I just didn't want to die. That was the only difference. Didn't want to die, so it was a good day. 1 or 2 a year. When I started transition, it got to kind of 1 or 2 a month where I wasn't um, particularly suicidal, and things have gotten a lot better in the last 3 years. I mean, things are still tough. I've just recovered from a pretty much toxic anxiety problem. Um, but I've discovered a kind of secret for surviving chronic suicidal depression, and it's to find something stable to hold on to. It's kind of like when you're learning to dance and you do spins and you fall on your ass because you get dizzy, and your teacher says look at a spot on the wall and keep looking at it. You spin, you turn your head around, you look at that spot again, and you spin and you look at the spot. You have one spot that you look at and you hold on to. And a lot of people, their spot with suicide is their family or their dreams or something really positive, or um, just it's often outside of them. And for me, it actually starts in a really bad place. It starts in the same place where the suicidal depression comes from. My first abuser told me that as a person who owned a vagina, I existed solely for the pleasure of men. He told me that I was not lovable, that no one would ever love me unless I let them do what they wanted to do with my body. That me as a person, I had no value. It was only because I owned a vagina that was the only value that I had. And later on I had someone tell me to just give up on all of my dreams. To not have dreams. You have a vagina. You don't deserve dreams. And over and over and over, my abusers told me basically that I had no value, that I wasn't lovable, that I was nothing. May as well be dead. I had someone 3 or 4 years ago tell me about my disability, that they would have killed themselves if they were in my situation. Ableism is actually kind of hilarious in its ridiculousness, but I've had people tell me my whole life that I have no value and I should actually be dead. I should just kill myself. Actually, literally, I had someone on Twitter tell me that I should kill myself because I'm trans. Um, but all the way back to that little 4-year-old kid who got told that they were not of any value or lovable other than as an extension of a vagina and for the pleasure of men. That little kid, you know what that little kid did? That little kid decided that bastard wasn't going to win. He doesn't get to win. And so I did everything I could that they told me I wasn't allowed to do. I didn't get married. I didn't have children. Although those were less choices about sticking it to my abusers and more about actually I wanted to live my own life. I wanted to live my life. I went to university, even though half of my family told me that as a girl, all I should really want to do is get married and have children. Why would you want to go to university? University is for boys, for smart people. And I've lived my whole life doing the best that I can to live my life on my terms so my abusers don't win. And that includes not killing myself when I'm suicidal. Because that person who hurt that 4-year-old kid doesn't get to win. None of my abusers get to win. I will be who I am, regardless of what the abusers and the harassers and the bigots and the bloody turfs say. None of them get to tell me who I am. None of them get to tell me my value. This is my life. And you know what? It may be shit a lot of the time. Sometimes I get pissed off because my exercise, I can't go for a run. What I do is I walk very slowly with a walking frame. I walk about 1 kilometre and then I come back home and I rest. That's my exercise. But I'm bloody well going to exercise. I'm bloody well going to win. Because all the people that tell me that I don't have any value, that I should just give up and kill myself, they don't get to win. And so even though I still have mornings or afternoons or weeks at a time where my brain tells me that I should kill myself, they're not going to win. They're just not going to win. I'm going to win. And I win every day. Every day above ground, I'm winning. Every word that I write towards the next book, I'm winning. Every day that I choose not to act on those thoughts and those memories and the words of my abusers, I win. And that is my steadying point. When I'm spinning around, I should be getting dizzy and falling over. That is my point on the wall. I write because writing kept me alive. I keep trying, even though I don't have the resources or the knowledge or the skills to do what I want to do. I keep going because they don't get to win. And I don't know if that helps other people. I don't know if my 2 suicidal friends can gain comfort from that idea. I hope so. But the thing is, for me, every time I come across some asshole on Twitter who tells me that, I'm really a woman, I'm not a man, because, gender is only sex. There's no nuance to the identity of gender. It's just what you've got in your pants. Every time I get told by a TERF that I'm disgusting or automatically either a traitor to women or what else have I heard? It doesn't matter. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Every time I hear people or read people saying horrible, evil things to me, it hurts. But then I always put them on the list. Long, long list of people I call abusers. Because that's what they are. People who do stuff like that. People who say to strangers that they should kill themselves. They're abusers. And abusers don't get to win. Abusers are the ones who are at fault. They are the ones who should be ashamed of what they are. Good people do not destroy or attempt to destroy others. So every day I resist them. Every day I imagine them as a little tiny person and pat them on the head. That's nice, dear. Fuck off now, dear. Every time I cancel, I circumvent the hurt or the anger over what they've said or done. Every time I take the power, every time I don't let them in, or I have a good cry and then I move on. I win. I guess it's a moral high ground thing, but that's what keeps me alive. Because what happened to me has wired my brain to want me to die. Basically, I probably permanently have the programming in my brain that asks me to kill myself because of what was done to me, what was said to me, all of the abusers that hurt me, tried to destroy me, tried to control me, tried to turn me into a tool for their entertainment. They're all at fault, not me. And no matter what they've said, no matter what they've done, no matter what my stupid wiring does, whatever that wiring, that programming, that socialization that happened as a child and teenager and adult, because I've pretty much been abused my entire life. Those abusers don't matter. They are at fault. They are the evil ones. What kind of human being tries to destroy another just for their entertainment? It's not what people do. It's not what good people do. And they don't get to win. Not in my life. I get to win. Every breath I take, every action I take, every attempt I make to get through all the PTSD symptoms and my silly body hiccuping again with chronic illness. Every day I get out of bed and keep fighting because my abusers don't get to win. They don't get to win. Nah. If I wake up and I'm in pain and I don't think I can get out of bed, I'm just like, okay, I'll sit here, I'll breathe, I'll see if I can do some stretches, get some of those cramps out of my body. And then if I have to bloody well roll off the bed onto the floor and crawl up the wall or the door, usually, I'm going to win. Not them. Not the illnesses. I'm going to win. And even if that win is, yes, I got to the toilet, it's still a win. The world is a very unfair place. It is filled with horrible people and excruciatingly horrible circumstances. Things like viruses, things like tornadoes and car accidents and genetic abnormalities, so-called. The world is very unfair. And a lot of it we can't control. The only thing we can control is ourselves, individually. I control me. And I can choose every breath to stay alive. And sometimes it's that bad. I've had bad days, so bad that it was one breath at a time. Not every day, not one day at a time, like, as they say in most 12-step programs. It was one breath. I've taken one breath. I'm choosing to live, so I'll take the next breath. And I've gotten through days, I've gotten through weeks, I've gotten through months like that. And it's not about strength or courage or any of the other words people use or have used. What it is finding your point on the wall and holding on to it. You find your thing, the reason that they don't get to win, your reason for breathing, for taking the next breath, for getting out of bed. Even if your reason is a hope for the future, the dream of a partner, the dream of having a body that you actually fit, that you actually feel comfortable in. Even if it's a daydream of a life that you want to live and can't yet. I think everyone in the world would be gobsmacked, completely shocked about what human beings, both individual and together, were capable of, or are capable of. We can get through a lot. And I believe to every person who's suicidal right now and watching this, I believe that you can get through this. In my program, we say that if I can do it, you can do it. And if you can do it, I can do it. We can do it together. And I can do it. You can do it. Everyone can do it. We can get through a day. We can get through a month. We can get through a year. Hell, 2020 has been the most ridiculous, scary, bizarre year so far, and it's still only, what, August? We can get through it. You can get through it. I can get through it. We can get through together. Even if our hands can't hold other hands. I can't hold your hand, but I can hold you here, and you can hold me here, and we can get through together. I promise. There is a way through. And even though it's probably the hard way, as in one day at a time, one breath at a time, one step at a time, it is possible to get through the most agony a person can go through. You can do it. I promise you. Just find that point on the wall. That one thing that even in the depths, the absolute depths of depression, that one little spark, the star, that spark of joy, or in my case, stubbornness, anger, pride, determination. One little spark. All you need is one thing to hold on to. For me, it's the refusal to surrender, the refusal to let my abusers win. You'll have a different thing. Or, you can borrow mine. Whatever works best for you, whatever stirs in you a different feeling other than wanting to die. It's okay to be angry. And it's okay, it's wonderful to hope. Just find that point on the wall and you'll be able to get through it. Hopefully today will end in a better space. Hopefully grief and pain will fade away again, as it often does. Paranitasa.